Welcome back! So, here's the exciting bit. Kim is starting her first day at her German language school. But hold on, she's not in Germany just yet. Miss Muller, being the amazing sponsor she is, enrolled Kim in a fancy German school to get her started on the basics. Look at her walking into the classroom. It's all so new and exciting. The students are already buzzing with energy. Some are flipping through their notebooks. Others are chatting and laughing. And a few look just as nervous as Kim. Oh well, I hope you're all ready for another today's lesson because we've got something a little tricky, but also super fun. Drumroll, the German alphabet. But before you start thinking, wait, Serena, how can letters be fun? Let me tell you, we're not just talking about A, B, C. Nope, we're talking about how some of these letters sound, look, and even change when they're mixed together. It's like German has its own little alphabet party happening, and we're all invited. I know you're probably thinking, ugh, letters. Well, trust me, German letters can be sneaky. Some sound completely different from English, and others look like they belong to an ancient treasure map. But don't worry, we're going to break it down step by step. So sit tight and get ready for a fun ride through the ABCs of German. Ready? Let's go! Before we dive into today's lesson, make sure to hit that subscribe button, follow, and tap the notification bell so you never miss any new updates.
Hey everyone, my name is Mrs. Schmidt and today we're going to dive into something super exciting, the German alphabet. The German alphabet has 26 letters, just like the English alphabet, but there's something unique about it. In German, each letter has its own distinct pronunciation, which sometimes sounds quite different from English. It also includes a few special characters like the umlauts, A, O, U, and the Eset, SC cap, which we'll learn about later. To help you follow along, I've written the German pronunciations of each letter under their symbols on the board. This way, you can see how to say them properly while we go through each one. Let's get started. A is pronounced A. One example is Apfel, that's apple. Apfel means apple in English. Say it with me, Apfel. B is pronounced B. One example is Ball, that's ball. Ball means ball in English. Let's say it, Ball. C is pronounced C. One example is Kaffee, that's cafe. Cafe means cafe in English. Say it with me, cafe. D is pronounced D. One example is Dach, that's roof. Dach means roof in English. Say it, Dach. E is pronounced A. One example is elephant, that's elephant. Elephant means elephant in English. Say it, elephant. F is pronounced F. One example is fish, that's fish. Fish means fish in English. Let's say it, fish. G is pronounced G. One example is Garten, that's garden. Garten means garden in English. Say it with me, Garten. H is pronounced H. One example is house, that's house. House means house in English. Say it, house. I is pronounced E. One example is Insel, that's island. Insel means island in English. Say it, Insel. J is pronounced J. One example is Junge, that's boy. Junge means boy in English. Say it with me, Junge. K is pronounced K. One example is Katze, that's cat. Katze means cat in English. Let's say it, Katze. L is pronounced L. One example is Lamp, that's lamp. Lampe means lamp in English. Say it, Lampe. M is pronounced M. One example is Mensch, that's person. Mensch means person in English. Say it with me, Mensch. N is pronounced N. One example is Nacht, that's night. Nacht means night in English. Say it, Nacht. O is pronounced O. One example is Obst, that's fruit. Obst means fruit in English. Let's say it, Obst. P is pronounced pay. One example is Pferd, that's horse. Pferd means horse in English. Say it with me, Pferd. Q is pronounced Q. One example is Qualle, that's jellyfish. Qualle means jellyfish in English. Let's say it. Qualle. R is pronounced air. One example is Regen, that's rain. Regen means rain in English. Say it, Regen. S is pronounced S. One example is Sonne, that's sun. Sonne means sun in English. Let's say it, Sonne. T is pronounced T. One example is Tisch, that's table. Tisch means table in English. Say it with me, Tisch. U is pronounced U. One example is Uhr, that's clock. Uhr means clock in English. Let's say it, Uhr. V is pronounced V. One example is Vogel, that's bird. Vogel means bird in English. Say it, Vogel. W is pronounced V. One example is Wasser, that's water. Wasser means water in English. Let's say it, Wasser. X is pronounced X. One example is xylophone, that's xylophone. Xylophone means xylophone in English. Say it, xylophone. Y is pronounced Y. One example is yoga, that's yoga. Yoga means yoga in English. Say it, yoga. And finally, Z is pronounced Z. One example is zebra, that's zebra. Zebra means zebra in English. Let's say it, zebra. Now that we've mastered A to Z, it's time to dive into what makes German extra unique, the special case alphabets. These are like little treasures of the German language. The umlauts, Ö, and the Ü, and the SZ or SES. Let me show you how they work and why they're so important. First, the umlauts. They're just regular vowels, A, O and U, that decided to wear little hats. When you see those two dots above the letters, they change their sound just a bit. Let's start with A. It's like a softer E sound, as in the word Äpfel, which means apples. Yum! Next we have Ö, which sounds like you're saying E, but rounding your lips. An example is Öl, which means oil. Can you hear the difference? And finally, Ü. It's a bit like saying I while rounding your lips again. A great example is Überraschung, a tricky one that means surprise. Now, let's talk about the SZ or Satz. This letter looks like a fancy B but sounds just like a sharp S. You'll often see it in words like Straße, which means street. It's only used in certain words, but it's an important part of writing German correctly. See how these special letters make German sound so unique and fun? Practice them, and you'll be speaking like a native in no time.
Okay, that was a blast. I learned so much today, but now Mrs. Schmidt gave everyone an assignment, and it looks like Kim is having a bit of trouble with it. Let's take a look and help her out. Alright, this seems pretty easy, right? You should definitely give it a go. Drop your answers in the comments below, and let's see how everyone does.